Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and I just got out of seeing the new Nicolas Cage film, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I think I got that name correct. And let's just say, I really enjoyed this film a lot more than I thought that I would. I was not a big fan of the marketing campaign for the film because I just felt that it was just a little bit too much on the nose. I mean, it's a film about Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage as a struggling actor, having issues with family, taking on a $1 million birthday party, essentially, in order to try and have like a last hurrah, I guess you could say, to make a little bit of money and to retire. So it was just, again, a little bit too much on the nose in that way, and it was clear that this film was made for people that are fans of Nicolas Cage and are fans of, I guess, this genre of film where it's very self-aware in certain ways. Kind of reminded me in certain ways of The Interview, at least in the relationship that exists between Nicolas Cage and then also the character who is paying him to come to his birthday party, played by Pedro Pascal. And despite the fact that I think Pedro Pascal, as an actual real-life person, has come across definitely as a bit of a scummy person, to say the very least, he is definitely someone who has a lot of talent. And the chemistry between him and Nicolas Cage in this film is really, really, really good. And so went in with low expectations, came out of it actually pleasantly surprised. I'm definitely going to say that I enjoyed this film. I think the writing is nothing all that special. I don't think that this is definitely a film that's going to, change anyone's hearts or minds or anything like that. It's nothing revolutionary, but it's just a fun little film. And I think that if you are a fan of Nicolas Cage at all, you're going to appreciate a lot of the Nicolas Cage-isms in the movie. You're going to appreciate a lot of the self-referential moments as well, where, of course, I mean, this really isn't much of a spoiler, but you're going to have, of course, featuring different aspects and showings of other Nicolas Cage films throughout the film, which I thought was pretty fun. Throwbacks to certain lines, throwbacks to certain items in films that he's done. And I just really appreciate that. You know, I wouldn't call myself the most hardcore of Nicolas Cage fans, but I've at least seen enough of his work to be able to have caught most of the references that were made in the movie. Though, of course, with a film like this, it definitely becomes a little tricky because you have people like Pedro Pascal, who is a pretty well-known name at this point, being in films like Wonder Woman 84, which, even though the film was a box office bust, was still a large enough film for most people to know who he is. Of course, he is also known for The Mandalorian and for Game of Thrones. You also have Tiffany Haddish in the film, who I don't really think is that talented of a comedian. Luckily, her role is very small in the film. It's just very diminished, and so I think that, that's exactly where that role needed to be, because I just don't think that she is, one, all that talented, and two, all that funny in the first place. Neil Patrick Harris has a very small supporting role as well, playing the agent of Nicolas Cage. And there's a couple other actors playing family members and things like that. And that's what makes it weird, is because Nicolas Cage is playing Nicolas Cage, but then you've got these other people that are all recognizable. Some of them are names, and they're playing fictional people. And I thought that was a bit odd. I think I would have enjoyed this actually a bit better if Pedro Pascal was playing Pedro Pascal and he was playing himself, but in this fictionalized universe where he has a plan to create a movie and he really is a big fan of Nicolas Cage. Like that, I think, would have actually made the film even funnier if he wasn't just playing a fictional character who is a part of this international crime syndicate, but instead was actually just playing Pedro Pascal, saying, yeah, I really have just been always a big fan of you, and I've written a screenplay, and I really want us to work together. I don't know. I think it would have added some more comedy to it, because, again, the chemistry between those two characters and those two actors really works very well. And so as far as the story element, and as far as the story itself, I think it could have been a bit better, but I do think that there is enough in here for any fans of Nicolas Cage to enjoy those aspects of the film. The acting also is, again, pretty much what you would expect from it. I think Nicolas Cage I don't think he phones it in. I think that he gives, again, a typical Nicolas Cage performance, and I think it's at moments very, very entertaining. And speaking of the entertainment value, it's definitely not a film, for me at least, that was laugh out loud funny for a large portion of it. However, the moments that are really funny are actually pretty funny. And so I did find myself enjoying this film quite a bit. I was in the theater probably with about 5 other people. So not a very large group. I mean, it's only been out for a week or two at this point in time, and it's not making a whole lot of money at the box office. And tonight, of course, being the release of Liam Neeson's Memory, no one is really here because it's kind of just a dead week before next week's release of Doctor Strange 2. And obviously that was to be expected. But yeah, I think that this is a film that just could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse, though. And so I think I am enjoying this film, and the more I think about it, the more I'm enjoying it. And it's a film I think that I actually might want to see again. And so with that being said, again, acting I think is fine for the film. Pedro Pascal actually gives a really great comedic performance in the movie. And I just, again, love the chemistry between him and Nicolas Cage, and I thought that it was exactly what this film needed. And I almost wish we had had more of that dynamic in the film, because there's moments where it slows down, there's moments where it focuses on him and his family, on him and Nicolas Cage, like Nicolas Cage and his family in the film. And to me, it kind of slowed down a bit at those points. It got a little bit boring at those points. But then once it picked back up again with their relationship, again, going back to what I was saying before about how it reminded me of The Interview, it reminded me of the relationship that formed between James Franco's character and then, of course, Kim Jong-un in the film. And it kind of reminded me of that dynamic a little bit, where they're bonding over some of the weirdest things. And I don't know, I thought that was a lot of fun. And there's also just, again, a lot of movie references in the film as again, it's dealing with movie stars, but also, there's a point where they're listing off their favorite films, and there's a really great joke with that throughout the film that I thought was pretty entertaining as well. But there are some slow parts that I do think, this film could have been polished, I think, a little bit more. As far as all the other technical elements that I typically talk about, cinematography was fine. It was passable. It definitely was not bad, like I've seen in recent films like Ambulance, for instance. So it was definitely passable. It was not offensive in any way whatsoever. And the score was, again, I think it worked for the film. Nothing really too special all that much. And yeah, there's really not much else to say about it other than if you're a fan of Nicolas Cage and you just want a nice movie to turn your brain off for and just be, this is ridiculous, but I'm having fun with it. That's the kind of movie that this is. The couple that was sitting behind me, in fact, when the movie ended, was like, wow, that was so ridiculous. But in like that positive way where you're like, man, that was so ridiculous, but I had fun with it. So if I had to give this film a grade, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a solid B. It's not the greatest film in the world. It's not a film that I am going to see a lot more times in my life, but it is a film that I would be open to go see again. If I had a friend who really wanted to go see it, I'd be like, yeah, I'd go see it again. I had fun with it enough. Or if my wife wanted to go see it, I'd say, yeah, I think if you enjoy Nicolas Cage in general and you want to see some self-deprecating humor, I think that you would find ways to enjoy this film. But anyway, those are my thoughts about it. Have you seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? One of the longest names of the year, at the very least. What are your thoughts about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, that fire button, and honestly, are all amazing and beautiful people. Again, solid B for this film, and I think that it's a good time. And just don't go into it expecting too much, and I think that you will end up finding yourself enjoying it for the most part. Anyway, you guys are all great. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody, and as always, God bless.
And now for a huge shout out to all of my April Patreon, Subscribe Star, and Locals members. Starting off with Patreon with Animation Commentator, Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, Hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymeson, Inflamed Wood, Jacob from Holland, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura, The Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Priscilla Hall, Rosella Allen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., the Empress of the Universe. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. And also to my Subscribe Star peeps, Matt317, Storm Tracker, The R, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand 4, John B., Mr. Roy Glinzer, J. Alice McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. And also a huge shout out to my locals members, starting off with Kara Tharp, K Tharp 56. Also, UAB, Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Robert Barnes, and also a huge support as well to Brett D90. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Locals. And I want to add a shout out for my newest Patreon member, One-Eyed Jack. Thank you again to everyone for supporting the channel. Please, if you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and video, go ahead and check out the top link at the video description. It is my Willow link, as I like to describe it, and it brings you to a link tree where you get access to all of these different locations, as well as all of the various social media platforms that you can follow me on. If you join at the Citizen of Asgard level, you get your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream and video. Army of Asgard level gets you that, plus you get access to a giveaways channel that I have on Discord. If you ever don't have access to that giveaways channel, please contact me. I do send out the link to the Discord and with the instructions on it at the beginning of every single month. But if you don't have access to that giveaways channel where I'm giving away 4Ks and Blu-rays and all that kind of stuff, as much as I possibly can give away is available there. Please just reach out to me and I will gladly walk you through the process to make sure you get access to that giveaways channel. And again, that is, Army of Asgard level, whether you be on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals. Also, if you are the keeper of the Bifrost level, you get access to all of that. Plus, you get access to a podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. We try and do it once or twice a month. I think we're going to try and do it twice this month to make up for some miscommunication that we had last month. So be on the lookout for that, and look out for those podcast Q&A posts that are always available on the Patreon main page, the Subscribestar main page, on the YouTube side of things as well. The YouTube community tab, you'll always find the podcast Q&A there, and also on the Locals page as well. And if you join at the Chosen of Valhalla level, the highest of the levels, you get access to all of that. Plus, if it's your first month, you get a free t-shirt, any t-shirt you want from my Teespring, my TeePublic, whichever one you want to get it from. You just let me know the size, location I'm sending it to, color, that kind of stuff. You get it sent to you. Plus, you get to be featured once a month on the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where we all come together and just talk about movies and really anything the Chosen want to talk about, and it is a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you all very much for your love and for your support. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.